Nova Scotia's history with uranium mining is complicated, but after decades of debate, a moratorium, and then a ban, the province is allowing research. Why now? First, let's turn back the clock. It's the late 1970s. Mining companies are scrambling to stake their claim to the province's uranium resources. Despite being radioactive, there's money to be made. It's used in nuclear energy, medicine, and, of course, nuclear weapons. The number of exploration licenses has boomed. Companies are drilling, hoping to strike gold.
This is the ore mineral which would be treated in a mill facility.
But residents are uneasy. They're concerned about radioactivity, its impact on air and water, what would happen if the structure meant to contain radioactive waste suddenly failed, how it might affect the health of residents and workers, and whether Nova Scotia uranium could be used to make nuclear weapons. The province orders a public inquiry. 44 meetings are held throughout Nova Scotia. Then, in 1981, right in the middle of a provincial election campaign, the mines minister ends the debate.
The exploration and the mining of uranium could be hazardous, and in view of all that, we decided to impose a moratorium.
From that point on, all was pretty quiet on the uranium front. Until 2008, the progressive conservative premier of the day decided to revisit the moratorium as part of a review of its energy and climate change strategy. Economic arguments were made.
We were very pleased that last year $10 million was spent on exploration, mineral exploration in Nova Scotia. That's the best it's been in 20 years. But if we look at Labrador, they spent $100 million on just uranium exploration last year.
Environmental arguments were made.
The byproducts of the nuclear industry are more poisonous than the byproducts of any other industry on Earth. So to call it green, fundamentally green, is ridiculous.
The issue was finally put to rest once again after the NDP swept to power in the 2009 provincial election. The government changed the moratorium to an outright ban. Now, Progressive Conservative Premier Tim Houston says it's time to take the no out of Nova Scotia, and that special interests have had an outsized voice in policy creation. We need to have a mature discussion about bans, he says. So here we are again. But how much uranium is in Nova Scotia anyway? The short answer is no one knows for sure. I talked to a geology prof who says geological conditions here are perfect for uranium deposits. Here's the head of an exploration company back in 2008.
The province is loaded. I mean, the Windsor area is, when you look at satellite remote sensing that some of the governments have, when you look at just the general overview of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia, I mean, the middle of Nova Scotia is glowing red. So everybody knows uranium's there.
So we know it's here. The door to exploration has been opened, and now it's a waiting game to see if anyone comes knocking.